a gun escaped into a high-rise parking structure for more than an hour. That was where Miriam Hernandez is live at the Americana Mall in Glendale with more. Miriam.
A quiet day of shopping turned out to be anything but, as police went door to door to every single business here, telling them to lock up. After 3 hours, they were still on the hunt for one suspect. All three suspects ultimately were arrested, but it wasn't easy. Putting lives at risk. It looked like three robbery suspects were willing to do anything to get away. Reckless driving and at breakneck speed.
The pursuit was a reported miles of 100 miles to 110 miles an hour. I guess another vehicle got hit.
So reckless, the car goes out of control, taking a turn at the Americana Mall.
Oh!
The crash leaves two stunned passengers in the car, but not the alleged gunman. He's almost in the grasp of a Burbank police officer, but somehow breaks away. He's so desperate he doesn't care what happens next. He slams into a police car trying to block his path. He keeps right on going. According to a police spokesman, officers had to make quick decisions along the way.
Obviously, they were chasing a armed suspect. He did have something that appeared that he was trying to play with, both taking off the jacket and prior to that reaching into his waistband area.
And here, where the officer first makes contact, he had to make a safe choice.
It's easy for us to maybe think that the officer should have had a good grip on him. But if you watch the pursuit, if anybody saw the tape, you can see the officers are holding their guns out where they're running. And at the same time, they don't want to close that distance too much in case, because it only takes a split second to turn and fire a weapon.
Police had every reason to believe the suspect was armed and dangerous. His friends left behind in the car said he had a weapon. So clerk at the Burbank liquor store.
When officers responded, they then broadcast that it was a robbery that just occurred with a handgun. Officers then got on the scene, saw a vehicle leaving quickly. They then went to stop it. A pursuit ensued, and they chased it all over North Hollywood, Sun Valley, back here through Glendale.
That final suspect was arrested. He was hiding in a stairwell on the 8th floor of that parking structure. He ultimately did not resist arrest, and he surrendered to police without further incident. More evidence is being obtained at this hour as police believe that all three suspects were involved in as many as 4 robberies in the Burbank area. Reporting live from Glendale, Miriam Hernandez, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Miriam.
Air 7 HD, where a robbery suspect that had been involved in a pursuit and then a crash at the end of the pursuit has now run into Americana at Brand. There are some hotels that condominiums right there to the right, and this is their elevator that takes you up into the parking garage and also to the living area. But the suspect ran through the open area of the Brand, through this grassy area, surrounded by shops and restaurants there, but then he ran into here. We actually saw him take off his jacket after he jumped out of the car. He jumped out of the car, was attempted to almost be tackled by a police officer right at this location here. He jumped out of the car. A first officer tried to tackle him. Then another officer hit him with his patrol car. He rolled over the top of the patrol car. Then we see him taking off his jacket. There is another suspect who is being handcuffed here by authorities. Now, this had been going along through surface streets. We have some tape of the chase itself. This is through the area of Glendale, where he went by the Galleria there, and he also, this is on Brand, I believe, went right beside the Galleria, then ran into something, but this also matched the suspect description of 4 robberies in the Burbank area. LAPD, Glendale, obviously had been involved in all of this. This is the accident that you see here we've just described. That's the suspect, and you see he's knocked to the ground, and then he takes off again, but watch coming up. Another officer cuts him off. He goes right over the top. This is where we see him start to shed his clothing, and it looked like what he was going to try to do is run into some of these shops and kind of try to disappear into the crowd. But that didn't happen, they haven't taken him into custody, obviously. But this also went through Sunland and Sylmar. This is the area where he ran across that quad right during lunchtime, if you can imagine, before the big rush of lunch. But now you'll see he runs right into an area. I believe that might be the Cheesecake Factory there. There's a Katsuya on the right. Somewhat familiar with Americana brand. So he ran, obviously, a dangerous suspect, and he has chosen to take off. We're under the impression that there's this 18-year-old male-child suspect in that area. There's also the female was a driver. A woman was driving this. But they had been chasing this car for quite some time. That again, this suspect car matched the description from 4 robberies in the Burbank area. But they had taken off through Burbank, Sunland. They were in the North Hollywood area. So this is ending in Glendale. And if you plan to go to Americana at Brand, you will likely see a heavy police presence there as they try to find one more suspect of